Hi everyone, Gianni DePoce here with Theo Trade, and today is the 17th of September 2024, and another pretty good day in the market here. We saw the S&P 500 rally to a new all-time high. A little bit of intraday selling in so far over the last hour or so, but overall, the fact that we hit a new all-time high in the S&P 500 is nothing short of a good sign, especially considering, we had the Dow Jones leading to the upside for a few weeks there, and normally a flight to safety into the Dow is a cautionary signal for markets. And the reason being is that the Dow is comprised largely of large cap, blue chip names, legacy stocks that probably aren't going anywhere tomorrow. And so when you see the Dow leading, it is a cautionary signal. Take a look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ was leading to the upside today in stocks. The big thing I'm looking at in the NASDAQ here is for prices to exceed this high from the 22nd of August. But ultimately, I do need to see a new all-time high in the NASDAQ. If we don't make a new all-time high in the NASDAQ, it's going to cause some serious problems. But I am encouraged. Earlier in the day, we did see some leadership from the chips sector that has disappeared right now, but that's going to be a big thing for this market going forward. Is can we see a resurgence of the tech trade? Technology XLK was the top performing sector in the market last week. Definitely gives bulls some breathing room going into the Fed's rate cuts tomorrow. That's obviously the biggest story and headline of the week. Will the Fed cut 25 basis points or 50 basis points? As it stands now, it looks like the market is looking for a 50 basis point rate cut. That doesn't exactly get me excited. I would actually prefer to see the Fed only cut 25 basis points. I think it would be construed as a bit of a panicky move on behalf of the central bank, especially considering that you have other central banks around the world, especially in developed countries like the ECB, Swiss National Bank, Bank of Canada, Bank of England. They've been easing for a few months now and only 25 basis points at a time. So if the Fed jumps the gun and cuts 50 basis points, I think it's a sign that, oh, maybe they should have been cutting sooner. So I'd rather see a 25 basis point rate cut. Either way, we know that low rates, low inflation, typically a recipe for higher tech prices. Seen some really strong moves in that sector overall. I actually just covered a long position on GE Vernova here today after it hit our upside target in the 235 zone. Quick swing trade gain on that one for over 20% in just a couple of weeks. So this stock is looking good. And for members of AI Timing Webs, which is a special stock picking service we have here at Theo Trade, we actually had a very big breakout and satisfaction of our upside target in AppLovin. This is a stock you've been watching these videos that we've been covering for several months. It's actually one of the strongest stocks in the market this year with performance on par with NVIDIA. So it just goes to show it's not just NVIDIA driving this market. This is a large cap technology name as well, also in the AI space, but I think it looks really strong and poised for additional gains, but have taken half the chips off the table, tighten up the stop loss, and now we're going to see how far this thing can run. And speaking of other AI stocks, another one that I actually just bought yesterday is Intapp. Works in the AI space through one of its subsidiaries. I just got long this one yesterday, looking for a move into the mid $60 area. And I like the base on this, especially when you look at the weekly chart. I think it's poised for a rally to new highs. So the big story, obviously, of course, is the fact that the S&P made a new all-time high. That helps, but we need to see participation from the NASDAQ. We need to get through this rate cut. Like I said, if you look at the data 1 year following rate cuts, it's mostly good. There's only a couple of cases where stocks are lower 1 year later. And so there might be a little bit of near-term volatility. Wouldn't be surprised, there is some pretty wide bearish divergence here in the S&P 500 if you take a look at that. We might pause tomorrow. This is probably priced in, might be a little bit of intraday volatility, but I do expect it to continue higher eventually. Now, another big mover in the market today is the cryptocurrency market. Bitcoin and Ethereum both seeing strong bids. And interestingly, if you go back and look at the data, cryptocurrencies tend to do well, not only when the dollar is weak, it can also rally when the dollar is strong. But when you're in a low rate environment for the crypto carry trade, which is a thing, especially, when there was all those high yields being offered in 2021, you don't hear much about that anymore in the crypto space. But also If you run a correlation between liquidity conditions as evidenced by credit spreads and crypto, it's a really interesting observation I found is that when credit spreads narrow and liquidity conditions improve, you actually see a really strong bull market take place in precious metals. And we're going into that now. You're seeing credit spreads narrow even further. And I'm talking about the spread between investment grade corporate debt and treasuries. So keep an eye on crypto, seeing nice bids in MicroStrategy. Well, it was, now it's coming down. And then in cores. So you had a nice bid earlier today, a little bit of a reversal, but even after yesterday's sell-off, holding up pretty good. I think cores is emerging as the leader. Of course, you have Hut 8 mining that was up significantly more earlier today. A little bit of a midday reversal here, but like I said, I am encouraged by the price action in the crypto stock space. So let's take a look at precious metals too. Gold did hit a new all-time high yesterday in alignment with our expectations, getting closer and closer to that upside target in $2,650, $2,700 zone. You take a look at silver hanging out near the highs. Even though we're down today, I am encouraged by the price action in gold and silver. I would actually consider this a risk-on day. Silver down less than gold, silver miners down less than good gold miners. And you look at some of our names that we've been watching. AU, I still have this. I've already parked the truck on this. If it closes below 2663, I will be out. But, some of the other names, Agnico Eagle Mines holding out much better. Watching some other important names in this space too. Pan American Silver, Wheaton Precious Metals, those are looking strong. Alamos Gold at a new all-time high, and Eldorado Gold also hanging out near its highs. I'm watching crude oil as well because we are in the time band for a low of significance. Talked about this at the Theo Trade Live events, how this could be a very important moment for crude oil. The question now is, did we see a false breakdown in this energy market? If so, and we're going into a money printing period, look for crude oil to make a comeback. We're not going to, see inflation come back around next week or next month. This is something that could become an issue, 9 to 12 months from now. And keep in mind the wealth effect too. If stocks are back at new all-time highs, then the wealthy are going to be spending more money. Crude oil can go up. Economic demand could increase in that regard. This is a possibility. That being said, I'm not ruling out one more drop lower in the energy space. But if not, we are on the time band for a bottom, and it may have been complete. You take a look at bonds. We did see a new high in duration. 10-year T-notes did not make a new high, but we do have that long position in the 10-year T-note December contract target of 116. We're getting close to that upside target, so looking for that to close out sooner rather than later. Then, of course, we are also long the euro against the dollar. Got long that at the end of last week, and we're seeing that move higher. Have a target on this one potentially as high as 114. It could be a while before we get there. Cycle is maturing, tight stop loss. We'll see if it holds, but I am encouraged by what's transpiring in the currency market in terms of being a tailwind for stocks to continue higher. So that's all that I wanted to review with you today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the Theo Trade chat room, and until next time.